Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrisburg City Council Legislative Session, February 23rd, 2016. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:03. Mr. Petrosky, please do the roll call.
Mr. Allett? Present. Mr. Baltimore?
Here.
Ms. Daniels?
Here.
Ms. Hodges?
Present.
Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Majors?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here. Thank you. Moving on to invocation. Mr. Majors.
Just want to take a quick moment to send prayers to the family of Nelson Polite, a local leader that we lost recently, and just want to have everyone mind taking a moment of silence for his family and anyone else that's in your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance, Mr. Johnson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Moving on to communications, we have none this evening. Moving on to courtesy of the floor, we'll start to my right. Anyone who'd like to come to the mic, please do so now. To my right. In the middle lane. Please do so now.
Good evening. I'm Daniel D. Graham, 217 North 2nd Street here in Harrisburg. At 2nd and Chestnut Street intersection, as you may know, they have a new arrangement with the red lights and walk signs since mid-January, and this new arrangement is not safe for pedestrians. The thing is, with the turning vehicles, it gives the green light to the turning motorists at the same time that the pedestrian walk signs are on. And it's not safe. A pedestrian has to look all around and sometimes flag down the motorist to make them stop and yield the right of way. They have signs yield to pedestrians, but now some drivers do yield the right of way to pedestrians, and that's good, but some other drivers do not yield the right of way to pedestrians, and that's where the problem is. With all due respect to everyone involved in this, I ask you people to please put the red lights on in all directions at the same time that the pedestrian walk signs are on, the way they had it before, and so that all vehicles are stopped completely when the pedestrian walk signs are on, and that provides complete safety for pedestrians. And also, I suggest have some police officers directing traffic at that intersection, at least during the weekdays, Mondays through Fridays. And this, again, this is a serious public safety issue. Even if the traffic gets backed up through South 2nd Street onto the bridge, listen, pedestrian safety is more important than moving more vehicles across that intersection. So again, as I said, please put the red lights on in all directions and the walk signs on in all directions at the same time so that all vehicles are stopped completely when the pedestrian walk signs are on. for complete safety for pedestrians as soon as possible and before someone gets hit by one of the drivers who does not yield the right of way to pedestrians. This is a serious public safety issue. Also, I say to council, please ban the telephone talking and listening and texting. Ban texting also while driving. Again, driving a vehicle requires complete attention on the part of the driver. And make this rule apply to every driver, no exceptions. And if also, again, if there a whole lot of, if the streets and roads are clogged with vehicles, which they usually are during the peak travel times, this is one more reason that more people need to ride buses and trains coming into Harrisburg and other cities. This is the solution to traffic problems and parking problems. Riding a bus and especially railroad train, you can relax and enjoy the trip. Thank you much. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Anyone else to my right? I'm sorry, Mr. I want to give them an opportunity. They just came in. Would you like to speak, Mr.?
Hi, my name is Pat Davis, and my family owns Horning's True Value, the hardware store on 2nd Street, right up here. And the reason why I was here, I was just wondering if it'd be, I spoke to the parking, and they told me to come to you, so that's why I'm here. They now have these great 15-minute free parking for shoppers to run in and out. And just because of the nature of my business being hardware, most people don't, they're just running in and out. They're getting something for $1 or $5 or hopefully more than that. But they're just quick runners in and out. I'm more like a convenience store than I am anything else, and it really would help me. I only have, on my block, I only have one spot, one 15-minute parking spot. And I would really love to at least have one more right beside it. And because that one 15-minute parking lot is for everybody on my side of the street. And there's 5 businesses there. And not to complain about somebody getting more than me, but right down the street in front of the Stocks, they have like 4 or 5 parking spots right in front of them. And I don't know if this is the right people to come to for this, but this is my starting spot, so that's all I got.
Originally, they were unloading and loading zones, and that's why they
Just-
designated those areas 4 to 15 minutes so that people could utilize that service. So in your area, you probably only have one loading and unloading
did.
zone. And that's why you only, there's, in the other areas, there's additional stores. So I don't know if that would be, we could accommodate, standard parking can accommodate, but I can certainly ask Mr. Gash.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I can certainly send a message to him and see and inquire if they could give you another 15-minute loading spot.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? In the middle, please.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Les Ford, 2033 Bellevue Road. I like coming to these meetings, and not always because I learn things from council members, but sometimes I learn things from and am inspired by people who get up to speak. And tonight, I wasn't going to say anything, but Daniel D. Graham raised a very important issue about pedestrian safety. So I would like to expand on that idea. And I would like to take it from downtown here and midtown here to Allison Hill. Probably 8 to 10 years ago, I stood at this microphone and talked about the problem at 19th and Dairy. At 19th and Dairy, you have 2 schools right there, one elementary school, one middle school. Then you have Melrose another block and a half away. So that makes an area in the city that is totally unsuited to children relative to pedestrian safety. Thank you, Daniel. We raised this issue some years ago and asked the police department to address the issue. They did for a while, but in the intervening years, that has fallen off. So I would like to raise the issue again of public safety and the safety of our children at 19th and Dairy. We have schools there, and we have one of the most complex intersections in the city. We have 5 points coming together. We have traffic coming from every direction. We have speeding cars, and yes, a couple of children have been hit there over the years. But I'm afraid we've become callous over the years because we have not had a catastrophe lately. So I'm raising this, thank you, Daniel, once again, under the auspices of pedestrian safety, but specifically the safety of the children going to school in the morning and then again at 3 o'clock when they let out. If you want a real traffic jam in this city, you want to see one, go up and look at what happens at 19th and Dairy at 3 o'clock. It's absurd. And at the same time, we have children trying to cross the street there. So this is an issue. I hope that council will pay attention, pay heed. I hope the mayor will take heed. And I hope that the chief of police, even though he's not here, will take heed and place officers there during those peak hours as the children are going there in the morning and as they're coming home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have somewhat the same problem on 6th Street in front of Ben Franklin, but I don't think it's a crisis like we have at 19th and Dairy. So I would just raise that to council's attention and hope that the city collectively with the administration can put officers out there during those peak periods in the morning and in the afternoon when children are crossing that intersection. It is not sufficient to have crossing guards there who have no authority and relatively little training. I would suggest you put at least one police car there with the lights on, just to make drivers aware of the fact that the city is paying attention to the health and welfare of the children in our school district. Thank you.
And Mr. Ford, that's something I will be looking into. I'm actually young enough to where I actually attended Roland, so I know all about the chaos that happened. I actually grew up the street, went to Roland in 6th and 8th grade. So right when that school was first, the two schools were first bought by the district and redeveloped, it's chaos not only at that intersection, but even as people are picking up their kids all around, they're backed up on 19th Street. So I know about and just people even going to work at that time who live in that area who are coming down 19th Street trying to catch the light. So I know the school district provides the crossing guards there. I think it would be, something good to possibly, if an officer is available, to be posted there with the lights on to bring caution to drivers to slow down. Overall, I think because of the placement of the schools, I know a lot of people are concerned about the traffic in the area, but I think that's something that's just going to happen because people have to slow down when the kids are, going to school and going from school. So, I think it's something that we can definitely, look at to see if there's any improvements that we can do in terms of making it a safe area for our kids, working not only, with the police department, but as well with the school district. Even if the police department being able to provide, some traffic training to the school crossing guards, and having, them be properly trained, as well as having support possibly from our police department if available. But I think you brought up a really valid concern. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add one thing?
Yes,
Just
can you, Mayor, please come
I'll
to.
just note that the city engineer actually met with the school district on that issue yesterday and gave them a briefing on what we're doing from a traffic control standpoint. And we've currently asked PennDOT to pick up the costs of a traffic study for that whole corridor. Because of the intersection of the state roads, you can't do anything without PennDOT's approval. And I believe the city engineer is actually meeting with PennDOT on that issue today. But there is some talk of rerouting traffic, and the first step to that would be the traffic study, and so that should be underway with PennDOT.
Okay.
That's a separate issue from the issue of crossing guards and police in the meantime. But I did want you to know, from a transportation standpoint, the city engineer is well aware of the problem, and we're trying to get it addressed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Anyone else in the middle? Public comment? To my left? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Okay. Moving on to approval of minutes. Approval of the legislative session minutes of February 11, 2016. Council members, any omissions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none, minutes will stand as approved. Moving on to report to committee. Report from Chair Johnson on the Public Safety Committee meeting of Monday, February 22nd, 2016. Mr. Johnson, are you ready with your report?
Yes, Madam President.
Thank you.
A public safety meeting was held on Monday, February 22nd, 2016. Present at the meeting was President Williams, Vice President Daniels, Councilman Majors, Councilman Alat, and myself, and representatives from the Law Bureau and the Planning Bureau. On the agenda, there were 2 items on the agenda. The first item that I will discuss will be Bill number 5 of 2016, which discussed an ordinance vacating the striking from the official map of the city of Harrisburg, a portion of South 20th Street between Sycamore and Pemberton Streets, pursuant to Chapter 3-109 of the Codified Ordinances of the city of Harrisburg. Testimony was heard from the Planning Bureau, as well as parties representing the Paxton Street Ministries and the Monarch Development Group. The applicants expressed that the vacated property would be used in a development project that they were looking to propose, and the special exemption had already been granted by the Harrisburg Planning Commission for an official map change pending City Council approval. Approval was also needed by the Harrisburg Zoning Board, which was scheduled for a meeting this same night. Residents within the neighborhood also attended the meeting and expressed their concerns in regards to the proposed plan and that was presented, and brought forward some objections to the proposed bill of vacating the street. Based upon the fact this land would be used in conjunction with a proposed project, I have recommended that the residents and the Monarch Group, as well as the Paxton Street Ministries, meet to further discuss concerns before City Council considers vacating and deeding the property over to the Paxton Church Ministries. More committee meetings will follow, where I will look forward to seeing progress on negotiations amongst all parties. The second item that was discussed was Resolution number 11 of 2016, discussing the Animal Protective Services Agreement with the Humane Society. This is an annual contract that is signed between the City of Harrisburg and the Humane Society, and City Council discussed the ramifications of the contract. I have recommended for this contract to be approved by City Council tonight, but we also we're interested in seeing some of the stats from the police department, which can be provided from the Humane Society, of the intake of dogs and possibly cats for the year of 2015, so we can have an idea of the volume that we're submitting to the Humane Society. And that is all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Moving on to ordinance for first reading, we have none this evening. Moving on to ordinance for amendment, we have none as well. And moving on to ordinance for final passage, we have none. Resolutions. Resolution 11, 2016. Mr. Petrosky, please read it into record.
Resolution 11 of 2016 was moved by Mr. Johnson, seconded by Mr. Baltimore. It's a resolution ratifying an animal protective services agreement with the Humane Society of Harrisburg area to provide services for the city's animal control program.
Any questions or comments on Resolution 11? Mr. Johnson, I would just ask that you provide the public with the amount that is the animal that the Humane Society is charging the city of Harrisburg, so that the public would have an idea of what the city is paying for that service.
So annually, the way the Humane Society contract is set up is beginning of the contract term, the city of Harrisburg is required to pay 50% of what was the prior bill's amount plus a $250 contract fee. I believe that amount for this year will be about approximately $22,000, based upon our 2015 bill being approximately $44,000. So the administration did indicate that was a decrease from the 2014 deposit, so it does show that that rate is going down. But we still are required to pay that 50% up front. And if we use all that money, we'll be billed and have to pay whatever is owed to the Humane Society. So that's the way kind of the structure of it is, where we put up 50%, and then following that, if we use more than that, then we have to pay more.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Mr. Baltimore?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Hodges?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 11 passes.
Thank you. Please read Resolution 17 of 2016.
Resolution 17 of 2016 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution approving the first proposed 2016 budget reallocations in order to provide for additional program and equipment allocations and authorize the roll forward of certain 2015 budget year commitments.
That will be placed in Budget and Finance Committee. Moving on to Resolution 18.
Resolution 18 of 2016 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution ratifying a professional services contract with Heiss, Gibbons and Company Incorporated to provide unemployment compensation consultation services as needed.
That will be placed in Budget and Finance Committee as well. Moving on to Resolution 19.
Resolution 19 of 2016 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution approving professional services agreements with Mayor Drusel, certified public accountants, to conduct audits of the city's financial statements and annual audit and financial report for the year ended December 31st, 2015.
That will also be placed in Budget and Finance Committee. Moving on to Resolution 20.
Resolution 20 of 2016 was moved by Ms. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution authorizing an application to Impact Harrisburg to fund up to $6,500,000 of the cost to fund the Harrisburg Sinkhole Project.
And that will be placed in Public Works Committee. Moving on to old business. Council members, any old business? Hearing none. Council members, any new business? Mr. Allett first.
Sure. Just want to announce the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to discuss the resolutions introduced tonight and also at our last session will be on March 7th, which is Monday at 5:30 p.m. here in council chambers.
Okay. Mr. Johnson.
I wanted to provide notice to the public that Harrisburg City Council Public Safety Committee will be hosting 2 public meetings to discuss the proposed bill for 2016, which is in regards to the fine assessment for small amounts of marijuana within the city of Harrisburg. These meetings will be held, the first one will be held on Thursday, March 10th, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. at Hack Midtown 2. The address of that is 1500 North 3rd Street, Harrisburg, PA 17102. And the second meeting will be held Thursday, March 24th, 2016 at 5:30 at the Harrisburg Public Works Building, located at 1820 Paxton Street, Harrisburg, PA 17104. We will be using all means of advertisement to get this to the public. So, this is our first way of getting it out to the public, but we want to let everyone know in advance as possible. If anyone has any questions or concerns or would like to submit any comments on this ordinance before the meeting, please feel free to do so to our city clerk. And I also wanted to make another announcement that on Tuesday, March the 1st, the Harrisburg School District will be sponsoring the annual 500 Men Reading Program, and they are looking for men within the community to volunteer your morning if you have time. The program usually runs from anywhere from 7:30 to 12:30. And this year, they're actually adding a career exploration portion to that program where they're looking for men to come in to talk about their careers at the high school. So again, that day is Tuesday, March 1st, 2016, And you can find out more information through the Harrisburg School District or Floyd Stokes, who puts on the program. And I will encourage all men within the community or even outside the community to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else? Just let me remind the public tomorrow, February 24th is the Public Works at 5:30. Following that, at 6 is Park Recreation and Enrichment Meeting. March 3rd is the Mayor's Workshop on the Strong Plan Amendments. The location, Mr. Grover, is...
Well, based on our discussion at caucus to be announced, there was a determination the room was too small.
Yes, it is.
So we will correct that tomorrow.
Okay, but it's still planned for March...
March 3rd.
Okay.
And we will have that both, we'll advertise that several ways.
Thank you. Anything else, council members? Hearing no other business, may I have a motion to adjourn? Second? Second. Meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you.